what to say. This has been the heaviest time of my life, and that's saying a lot because I've been traveling this earth for 80 years now, and I've seen many horrors, but there's something about right now that's unique in that we're seeing it in real time. We're seeing the destruction of human beings, the utter war against children, the maiming of young human beings, the destruction of an entire society. And we're seeing that cheered on and justified by our politicians. And the perpetrator is portrayed as the victim. And the great Israeli historian Ilan Pappy pointed that out, that the greatest outrage is that the victims are portrayed as the perpetrators. The hypocrisy cries to the heavens. Let me read you something. This is Anthony Blinken, the American Secretary of State. And he said in November, I spoke with UNRWA staff in Gaza, he wrote on Twitter. I heard about the extraordinary life-saving work they're doing in the face of extremely difficult conditions. We are working to expedite assistance to them that they can get it to the Palestinian people. Anthony Blinken said this as his country was arming and encouraging and enabling the massacre of the people that UNRWA was serving. Now, by total coincidence, quote unquote, just as the International Court of Justice issued its groundbreaking verdict, which called Israel to account for what it's been doing in Gaza, somehow, what a coincidence, it's announced that UNRWA is being investigated for participating in the October the 7th events. Where does the information come? And all these countries, Canada, the UK, Switzerland, the US, suspend aid to UNRWA. Where does the information come from? It comes from Israeli intelligence. How does Israeli intelligence obtain this information? Which they did report in Israel, which is not reported in the United States, by the interrogation of Gazan prisoners. Now, we know what the interrogation looks like, because I worked myself in the West Bank last year with Palestinians tortured in Israeli jails. And Israeli Physicians for Human Rights have documented for decades the torture of Palestinian prisoners. And this is the information that America, without even looking at it, accepts as persuasive. Not to mention Israeli intelligence found emails and Twitters and, and what did they find? That maybe 13 out of the 12,000 Gazans who work for UNRWA had ties to Hamas. So through these supposed links that they found on various online documents and through the interrogation, they found that maybe 1% or less, actually it's not even 1%, it's less, isn't it? 1 in 1,000 of people working for UNRWA in Gaza might have some ties to Hamas and might have participated. First of all, we don't even know if that's true. Secondly, even if it is, what's so surprising about that? What's so surprising about that, given what Israel's done to Gaza all these years? And what's that has to do with the organization? What does that have to do with this one institute that was created to expiate the guilt of the West to what it wrought in Palestine back in 1947-48 in assigning this country to immigrants from Europe who had their reasons to flee, but who had no right to take care of the land from the Palestinians. And of course, UNRWA doesn't just work in Gaza, it works all over the Middle East with Palestinian refugees. The hypocrisy is unbelievable. And then today, the Biden administration announced that it's going to sanction West Bank settlers who commit violent acts against the Palestinians. But it's not going to sanction the government that enables and arms and legally empowers those settlers to do what they do, whose policy those settlers are just carrying out. So what enrages me most as a Jew is that this is all being done in my name and in the name of my people. And anybody who dares to raise a voice in criticism, like that terrible anti-Semite Roger Waters, whose face I'm seeing on my screen here, is subjected to calumny. And people like myself, we're self-hating Jews, of course. We're traitors. We betrayed our people. So I salute everybody on this call. I salute everybody who speaks out, because the hypocrisy is unbelievable. And the venom directed against critics of what's going on is proportionate to the horror of what's being perpetrated. So thank you all.
Well, thank